if you're sitting there thinking, I've been through other programs to fix my blank, you fill in the blank with brain, you could fill it with immune function, you could fill it with gut function, whatever you want to put there. Whatever it is, you've been through other programs, your health is not yet where it needs to be. This is a video for you. I'm Dr. Jeff Cumro, and over the past 15 years, I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of people. And ultimately, what we do is we help them optimize their brain and their body to handle whatever situation they're faced with. So if they're in a learning situation, they're able to learn more easily. If they're in a social situation, they do fine with that. If they're in a stressful situation, they're able to calm themselves back down afterwards. Whatever the situation, we want the brain and the body to optimize themselves. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Like I said, a lot of people ask me, I've been through other programs to fix, blank, whatever that blank may be. And they don't come out the other side with the answer that they want. They're frustrated. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that I've been in the same boat. I've been there, and I understand the frustration with this. And that's kind of what has driven me to continue to learn, is there's something missing with these different chunks, and that's where we got to have a truly holistic solution. And there's a lot of people that market things as holistic. They say this is a holistic solution, but it's just a gut program, or it's just a brain program, or it's just a metabolic program, or it's just an exercise routine, or whatever it may be. It's not truly a holistic program. When we talk about holistic, it means all encompassing, right? All things are included in that. And that's really what we have to do if we're going to fix any of these issues. We have to have the hardware working the way that it's supposed to. That's where, brain training and, physical training and all of those things come in. We have to have the gut function working the way that it's supposed to. And brain training is a part of that, but it doesn't necessarily, if you've got the damage already, it doesn't necessarily fix that damage that's already there. We've got to do extra things to do that. We've got to have the metabolic side. We've got to have the sleep side. We've got to have the recovery side. There's a lot more to it than just a one-size-fits-all thing. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people fail to realize, and that includes practitioners as well, because like I said, a lot of the practitioners are out there saying this is the answer to this, and you just need to do this and everything's going to go away. And there's a lot of practitioners that are just doing detoxes and saying that that's the answer for everything. There's a lot of practitioners that are just doing brain training or whatever it may be, and all of those things are necessary, but they're not sufficient. And there's a big difference between those two, because what's necessary, we have to do the necessary things. But if we do the necessary things and we don't do enough of those necessary things, it's not sufficient to get your health back to where you should be. And what a lot of people will realize in this is they feel better, but they're not quite 100% yet. They might feel better for a while, and then they kind of revert back to being closer to where they were before. They're just not over that hump yet. And it's a frustrating place to be. And like I said, I had autoimmunity when I was 22. I got diagnosed, and it got really, really bad. Like, it was to the point where I lost 20 pounds in 3 weeks, and my doctor told me I shouldn't go to my best friend's wedding because she was worried I was going to have a heart attack. My levels were just through the roof, and that's something I worked on for a long period of time, and I've looked for answers throughout the years. I went to chiropractic school with that in mind, and I didn't really find the answer there. And I ran into a friend about 10 years ago, and he was speaking from the stage, and he basically talked to me. It seemed exactly like he was talking to me. He said, if your thyroid is the issue, how is working on your thyroid? Or if your immune system is the issue, how is working on your thyroid going to be the answer to it? I said, man, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So I went and I learned from him, and I learned the functional medicine side of things. And that got me significantly better. It got my autoimmunity to go away, but it didn't solve all my problems. And so I was like, it's got to be neurology, right? And so I went and I learned neurology in depth. And the problem with the first program I went through didn't systemize things real well. So it taught me a ton about neurology. It showed me how everything works and all of that stuff, but it didn't tell me how to actually implement it into a system. And so I had to learn from somebody else how to put all of that into a system. And that worked really, really well, but there were still some things that have been tweaked. And that's where I put in all my focus on the metabolic side of things. There's got to be something with my energy production that is a little off, that is all of it. When we look at ADHD, or we look at autism, we look at autoimmunity, different things like that. In many cases, the brain is a significant portion of that. There is a hardware issue in some of that, but it's not just the hardware issue. We can go through and we can stimulate those different parts of the brain. We can stimulate those different parts of the immune system. We can stimulate those different parts of the body to build strength and improve the outcomes of things. But it comes down to more than that. They all have metabolic issues as well. If we don't have the energy to support all of that, none of it works, right? So we've got to have all of the different pieces that are able to interact and work together the way that they're supposed to be. And do we know 100%, if you have this issue in your immune system, what can you do? There's a lot of that we don't know. If you have this issue in your brain function, what can we do? There's still a lot of that we don't know, but we have a good idea when we take you through a detailed functional evaluation. We can see what areas are functional, what areas are not functional, and that gives us a good roadmap of where we need to go. So it's all about finding the system that we need to put these in, finding the right areas, and then having an overarching holistic solution to doing those. Those are the things that have to be there. If we don't have that, then you're probably going to get better. It's going to be short-lived, or it's not going to be a full solution, and you're going to be frustrated, right? So we've got to be able to take those steps in the order of importance there to get you the result that you want. So if you are having trouble, I feel for you. I've been there. I have confidence that you can do it. Obviously, if you have questions for me, reach out to me. As always, I love and appreciate all of you. I appreciate your time and attention. I know that's your most valuable resource, and I will catch you on next week's video.